Here we go. What is going on, Bender Nation? Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a blessed day today. Welcome to the MBP, the Michael Bender podcast. I tell you what, today was a great day. Great day for some good stories. I figured we'd just tell some stories tonight. I got a couple good ones lined up that I thought I'd share with the world today. Wow, I think I found the perfect workout, to be honest. If I can go and do an hour of lifting, an hour of cardio, do 15 minutes in the cold plunge, 15 minutes in the hot tub, 15 minutes in the sauna, 15 minutes in the steam room. That's a total of 3 hours. But I'm telling you, folks, it is a game changer. Game changer. I was just like, man, I felt like a rejuvenated man when I left out of there. That is for sure. Here's a new one I like. Check this out. Now, if you can get pumped up, this is what I've been listening to every day. Listen, there we go. You ready?
Jesus is working on me. He's teaching me a new way. My soul cries hallelujah. Rejoice.
Man, I'm telling you.
Cause I'm not giving in to all of them sins he delivered me.
What is fueling you? What's fueling you in this world? Man, you really got to ask yourself that because, it's like people ask you, how do you overcome these things? I mean, how do you get that drive? And the fact of the matter is, folks, you got two wolves inside your head. You got the one that doesn't believe you can do it, and you got the other one that knows you can. And you know which one wins? The one you feed. And that's just that simple. It's the one you feed. My gosh, what are you feeding? This is what excuse me. This is what I feed myself. I mean, you got to. You got to. It's all about what you put in yourself. Like if you eat nothing but McDonald's, you're going to feel like crap. When all you're putting in your brain is stuff that's not of God and of positivity or getting better or drive, man, you're going to feel like crap. This kind of goes along with this story. So I encourage everyone out there, go talk to somebody. Talk to a stranger. If you see someone that looks like they might have more experience than you, say an elderly person, and don't hesitate. If God lays it on your heart to talk to them, please go talk to them. You never know what kind of gift or little treat you're going to get. So today, I'm in the hot tub and just kind of sitting there chilling by myself, and in walks this older man. And the first thing he does is cracks a joke. And I'm like, well, we got a jokester here. I had no idea how old this man was. He didn't look that old. You know what I mean? So he sits down and I glance over at him and I'm sitting there and the burning desire came up in my heart. And it was this question here. God said, ask him, if you were going to give the younger generation one piece of advice, what would it be? And I sat there on it for a little bit, and then finally I spoke up and I executed the question and he responded very cheerfully. And he goes, man, I tell you what, eat right and exercise. He goes, I'm 85 years old. This man did not look like he was 85 years old. He goes, I fought in the Vietnam War. I retired as a physician in the medical. So he was a doctor. And he goes, my wife just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's 10 years ago. And he's telling me about the journey with that. And to look at this man and think of, he's 85. This guy's in great shape. You'd never guess he was 85. My gosh, what a gift. What a gift to be able to grow old. What a gift to be able to make an exchange like that. I made a conscious effort to thank him for his time and that exchange and his knowledge. Anytime, folks, you can get a chance to learn from this older generation, please jump on it. They love giving it away just as much as you love hearing it. And I think it's a great cycle of life when you pass down knowledge from one generation to the other. And there's going to be a day, folks, people who are my age and around there, we're not going to have these folks to go to no more. And so it's just one of those things, you have to appreciate things while they're here. kind of like being on camera. Any chance that I can practice talking into a microphone while I'm filming, I'm going to do, because I want to perfect this art. People think it's super easy just to get up here and be like, oh, yeah, I can become a public speaker. Can you? Can you act normal when that camera's on? Can you, think of the right words? Can you not say 15 times and? There's a lot that goes into this, and practice is one of the biggest things. Practice, practice, practice. Just like that, The great thing is when you understand that you're learning and you're perfecting your art, bring on the mess ups. I want to learn. I want to get better. That's why I enrolled in Becoming the Better You with Brenda and all the staff. Hands down, a big shout out to all my peers at BTBY. Anybody looking to get into public speaking who's actually really got the drive to do it, that knows they can do it, those are the people that's going to put you on the stage. They're going to put you on the platform. They're going to give you the tools you need. And the one-on-one coaching is just unbelievable. They've changed my life. This is great. I just thought we'd freestyle a little bit. I really wanted to touch story on that, on Wes. What a great guy. And I met so many good people today. This morning, I just realized I said 2 times. And I am definitely keeping track, but that's okay. This morning, I was driving on the way to work. And one of my daily prayers is, no one goes hungry on my watch. I said, Lord, if they cross my eyes and my path, please give me what I need and the resources to help them. And I seen someone sleeping in a grocery cart this morning. And gosh, it tore me down. Absolutely tore me down. I whipped that truck right over and I woke this woman up sleeping in a grocery cart. I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, ma'am, it looked like she was dead. She finally wakes up and I hand her a $10 bill and I said, go get yourself something to eat. And she got up and I always hear repeatedly, well, I'm afraid to give them money because I don't know what they're going to spend it on. Well, let me tell you, your only job is to take it to that point. Do what you're supposed to do. What they do after that, it's on them. You've done your part as a good human being. Anytime that you get a chance to give, because you never know. You might be that person's last hope. If I say one more time, I'm just gonna go ahead and start this over. Not really though. I'm gonna keep jamming because we allow mistakes around here because the only people perfect there's only one person perfect. That's for sure. A lot of big things going on around here. Let's see what else. Oh my gosh. How about this story? Now I posted this morning. Get this. So I go to the doctor's, get my lab work done. I pull in the parking lot. There's these 2 people going squared up, ready to fight, screaming at each other, a man and a woman. Man, my goodness gracious, what is going on here? So I went inside, minding my own business. I just walked on by. Wasn't the right situation to say anything. So I go sit down in the lobby. Well, guess who walks in? And it's that same couple. And I didn't waste my opportunity. I seized the moment. And I said, folks, I mind my own business, but I just can't pass up an opportunity, and I don't believe in coincidences. I just want to let you know that you're on my heart, and I'm really praying that you guys just have the best day that you could ever have, that happiness just takes you guys over. And by the time I got done fist bumping them and sealed in that blessing and that happiness, they lit up like a Christmas tree. It was one of the neatest things that I've seen in a long time to see they were ready to throw hands. And it was really neat to see the goodness of positivity take over such a dark situation so fast. It was like a light switch. They were different people, and they walked out of there super happy. They were standing outside when I was leaving to go to my truck, ecstatic, sitting beside each other, Holden got to step in and intervened, and it was easily shown. Super pretty neat. Took the Harley out the other day. That was nice. That was real nice. So something happened. I haven't told anybody. Years old. We're deep into my addiction. And when mom died, that was just like, okay, where's the door? I mean, she was the last one. Every one of my family members has passed away, and that was my adopted family. And so it left me with zero family. And I have not been down to the graveyard since we had buried her. I don't know what drove me to do this, but I went down to the graveyard and searched and searched and searched and searched for her headstone. I seen my mamaws, I seen papaws, I seen Uncle Steve's, I seen great grandma Gladys and great grandpa Cecil. I seen cousin Ray. I didn't see mom's or Dave's, her husband. And I looked over that entire graveyard, and I knew I was messed up during the funeral, but I knew where it was. And I knew we would have been in that same spot because I have a plot there. That's where I'll be buried. You know what, folks? I realized that my mother does not have a headstone and has not all these years. And it just blows my mind. It was one of those things to where I instantly was like, okay, why am I finding out about this now? And I'm so glad that I did not find this out back when I was not emotionally stable like I am now. Because I don't think I would have handled it like I did on Sunday. And I handled it good. You know, the first thing I thought was, well, I'm going to get her the best headstone ever now. If I ever needed a reason to really make it and for things to go big and for me to go big time, this is one of them. Because I'm getting mom a nice headstone and I'm going to do something about it. And I think that just makes me feel so much better as a son to be able to do that. I mean, before, hell, you couldn't trust me with $20, you know? You couldn't trust me not to get drunk and screw everything up. That was my go-to. But this is my new go-to. You know, I said to one of my friends today in the shop, I said, it's crazy how I spent half of my life in order to learn how to live my other half. Because there was a lot of dumbass moments that I just, I'm so thankful I did. Because now I know better. And I know the next 50 years of my life are going to be off the charts. They're going to be record breaking. Dreams are going to be things. We're going places that only people are just kind of, I don't think nobody really knows how big things are going to get. But I can tell you right now, we're going to be worldwide. We're going to save a lot of people. We're going to put Jesus' name out there, and we're going to glorify God. And that's really all you need. That's all you need. You put that in the equation, it's blessings after blessings after blessings, after success, after success, after success. You know, I've really had time to think about my story here lately because creating my go-to speech for my public performances, which means I am absolutely dissecting everything that's happened in my life, all of my stories, and a lot of them I forgot about. Some of them, they're pretty clear. They're my go-to stories, but just how interesting it is to live your life all over again, to be able to tell your story, to help somebody out who might be going through the same thing you're going through. And you got no idea how much that you're helping somebody, changing everything. And I got to be honest, I can't take no credit. It happened when I was in rehab. And I went to the altar in Portsmouth, Ohio. I got on my knees and I begged God to take this from me. And I said, please take this from me. I've dealt with this my whole life. I want to see what I can do for you, God. What is my full potential that I can do? And at that altar, we were able to light candles. So it was a candlelight. Everyone went up there and prayed. When you said your prayer, you lit your candle. I didn't realize it until months after I've finished rehab, but I could be around people drinking. I could be around, to be honest with you, the first place I moved to out of a sober living, gosh darn, man, the guy, I think they were using drugs there. In fact, I know they were. I didn't know the kind about it, you know what I mean? But I didn't have nowhere else to go. And until I finally told Joey, I was like, Joey, I gotta stay at the shop. That's when I started staying at the shop. The point of that matter is there was no temptation. I knew damn well that I was quitting, that I was starting a new life, and there wasn't anything that would deter me of not doing that. Nothing. I mean, over at Kitchen Fronts, all that next door, I mean, they're just partying like hell, people offering drinks at Christmas parties. They didn't know no better, but I wasn't folding, and I didn't even have the least bit of temptation. And I talked to these other people, and they're, how do you do it? I mean, I just get tempted. I'm like, what do you mean you get tempted? I don't get tempted at all. And that's when it hit me, America. And I was like, oh my gosh, he truly has taken away that demon of addiction out of my body to where that other person is dead. And this is a whole new being. This is a whole new Michael Bender, a whole new Michael Lee, reborn, rebirthed, ready to serve. And that's the only reason, the only logical conclusion that I have is what Jesus did for me when he took away my addiction, because God knows I couldn't do it. And I know there's a before and after in my life. There's a before I had any respect, responsibility, before I was so selfish and egotistical. And then there's after. I give more than anything. Sober, happy, joyful, successful, manifestor. That's before Jesus, and this is after Jesus. I am exactly what it looks like when God blesses you. That guy. I'm going to be the example that God is still working miracles on this earth. My testimony. Because I really can't say the only way you can get worse is dying, because I was dead for 20 minutes after overdosing one time. I got a near-death experience that'll blow your socks off. That'll peel your wig back. It'll concrete your faith. But that's another time for another story. The point of the matter is I owe everything to God. I am merely a shell that he is using to transmute all this knowledge, all these words, these feelings. They're all God's thoughts. And when you can tune into that frequency, that Christ consciousness frequency, you're set. You won't have bad days. You'll experience heaven on earth. Your marriage will be so blessed. It'll be like your newlyweds. My friends are going through that exact thing right now, to where a couple of years ago, they might not have had it. I think it might have been a little bit rocky, but their marriage has never been better since he started adapting this Christ consciousness to his life. Living like a warrior, helping people out. The number one rule is love your neighbor. It's the first rule Jesus said. I'm not a big Bible reader, but I am very intrigued with what Jesus had to say. I don't believe that he came here to be worshiped. I believe he came here to show us how to live. When he says that you can do what I can do tenfolds, that means we have everything inside of us. Everything inside of us that we need to be just like Jesus. And it's right here. It's right here. It's the Christ consciousness, the vibration, loving your neighbors. And you can't go wrong with that. It will set you up for success every single time. And you can't beat it. Life is good. Enjoy it, folks. Enjoy the moments. Enjoy the moments. Because that's really all we get. Is right now. This very second, this moment. That's all we get. The rest is a memory or an anticipation. Once you can harness the moment, you're in there. And I sure appreciate everybody sticking with me and let me freelance and just talk, because this helps my speaking so much. I had such a phobia when I first started because I was going for perfection. And, I had to be told by my mentors, they say, Michael Lee, listen, people don't want perfection. They want authenticity. They want you. Your anointing is just being you. So just be you. And this is what I like to do. I like to practice. I like to talk on camera. And I love helping people. And you put those three together and you got you a winning hand. Absolutely. I've been thinking about doing another trash cleanup. If anybody's got a park here in Columbus that they would like to let me know, DM me. Really enjoyed talking with you. That was a good little session. I do want to tell you about my near-death experience sometime, but we're going to save it for another day. I'm going to call it a night. And God bless, be blessed, and be a blessing, and treat each other right. All right. Sounds great. I love you, America. Peace.